Pisces Virgo eclipses. And there is I think, a wake-up call here. There's a wake-up call. So collectively, we are asked to review something. This can be also our reckoning with a particular situation. And actually, it may talk about renewal. I feel like in our lives, there is some kind of a turning point. And it seems we cannot really carry it seems that we cannot carry the past with us anymore. So we need to wake up from this thing. Now I want to clarify the judgment with a Lenormand card. So judgment is clarified by, this is, I think, the Gardens card in Lenormand's. Okay, so gardens usually talk about social scenery. And our collective awakening is playing out in a very open way, and this can affect our communities, our groups, also like there are terms which are now very visible for everyone. There is this some kind of exposure here, and our shared experiences, I think, is very strong. And from this, I think we can understand that we are like preparing ourselves for some kind of a gathering, some meeting, like there is some type of a public exposure, I feel. And the inner awakening, this realizations, or what is causing this awakening, is actually coming from some social spaces, some maybe social media, some media, or group dynamics. It's like the community group or public we are in has some kind of a call, and like no one can really ignore that. This is like a karmic community moment. I feel like we want to merge with something, like the truth of our group, truth of the group community, or that social sphere that we are in. Of course, the judgment energy can be quite personal too in our individual lives, but collectively, I think this public card, this social card, really is expanding it. So we can say some group-related, collective karmic themes are surfacing in our relationships, in our communities, in our networks. This may also reveal some aspects when it comes to how we stand really accountable. Yeah, the accountability, how we can stay accountable in a setting like that. This is also going to be, I think, very important to mention. And here there is some. Okay, so by the way, at the beginning of the reading, I thought this was Page of Cups, but then I corrected it. This is a King of Cups. So it's not a Page of Cups, it's a King of Cups. And I want to read it with a clarifier. So we are clarifying the King of Cups with the cross. Oh, so there is, I think, there is a hurt here. Um, there is a hurt, and I think there is a heavy karmic flavor we can talk about, um, showing us that there is a hurt, there is a burden, especially emotional burden, I would say. King of Cups energy is a very wise energy. It's a calm energy, and it's an emotionally wise energy. It's steady. Um, but this energy is now carrying some sorrow, some burden, some responsibilities. I feel like collectively we are going through some also emotional trials, and we are definitely picking this up from our groups, networks, or public. Um, there is also here, I feel, there is a subject, and we are feeling also the burden of compassion, because I feel like there is a person here or that energy who is shouldering the weight of other people's feelings or others' feelings. Like there is some type of emotional duty that one is, I think, carrying. Um, King of Cups energy stands here like an emotional anchor, like everyone relies on that. And this is like there is a fate, um, in that person who is going to be an emotional anchor. This person is going to be a healer. And I think it feels heavy. Or this is like um, this energy talking about maturity, like maturity in the face of emotional tests. Um, and collective energy, by the way, is not running from anything. Collective energy is not running away from feelings. Collective energy is not running away from emotions. I think collective energy is ready to accept those feelings as part of their destiny. And I feel like this is about carrying them with some grace, I do feel. So this is an energy who is holding space for us. Okay. Um, and in that space, we can find deep emotional truths. Yes, the person who is gonna be leader for that, or who is going to be looked up, um, it may it may feel like a heavy burden who carries that, but it's like a karmic responsibility. It's like karmic responsibility which is going to help everyone like to stay steady, regardless of the storms. And okay, so the next card was Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles clarified by the mouse. Just a sec, please. Okay, so we have the mouse as a clarifier, or mice. Maybe mice is better. Now, mouse energy, to the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so this card is, I think, at the center. Mm, there is some material energy, and this is pretty much um, the material energy is talking about like how something is independent. I do feel it talks about independence, it talks about self-worth. Like, I feel collectively we are evaluating our independence, our personal maybe successes, or our self-reliance, and also the rewards of our work, right? Now, I think there are some things which are now changing about this subject, and it's going to be transformed. We have the death year, because this is not going to be, I think, a harvest time for us, but some doors will be closed, some habits will change, some old attachments will leave, some outdated values or previous outcomes, I think, will be released. There is like a lot of cleansing going on here. Why? Because we have the mouse. So this is, to me, feels like there is some kind of a loss, um, and I think this also reveals some nervousness about this independence, and something is like threatened when it comes to its independence and this independent standing. This success, sometimes that independence, that material energy, uh, when it happens, it can come some leaks. Now, this is a time where those leaks become more visible. Like, we cannot really hold the ship there. So there is like leaks. Um, I think from a collective sense, uh, enjoying so far like what we have like built and thought was like a success, may now shift and change and test the authority, I think. Like, um, we have to be mindful at this time when it comes to some small losses or some hidden stresses, um, because something is really has been eating that away when it comes to its stability. The mice is eating away the stability of the Nine of Pentacles there. How to say? There is like a success here, but this is not immune to some erosion or corrosion. Okay, so I think um, our idea about something's alone standing, sufficient, successful, independent, standing now is like leaking, and everyone is like trying to point out that. And maybe collectively we worry about what's going to happen if this thing, you know, goes. But I think that that energy is in a very strong position, reminding us that now this old attachment, this to understanding of success or independence or self-worth is not subject to change, because something is, I feel like, mm, outdated now. We have to clean the room, and we need to allow the change to happen, and we do this for growth opportunity. I think there is also a reminder about not to get too attached to a comfort zone. Um, yeah, but I want to clarify that too. Oops. Okay, clarifying that. Actually, let me clarify all the cards now. Clarifying that we have the sun. Sun clarifies that. Wonderful. Now let's clarify the next card. This is Emperor. Now clarifying the Emperor with the crossroads. Now I'm going to clarify the Queen of Wands. We have the Anchor. Ah, yeah, we have a new Anchor. Nice. And now we are going to clarify the Devil, and this is the Mountain. Oh, wow. I think someone else is taking the place of this King of Cups energy. Because in the beginning, I told you we were looking for some maybe, something to lean on, like an anchor to us. Now I think some roles are changing or shifting here. Okay, so the endings around um, our understanding of independence, self-reliance, or like the outcome of a success story. I think this is all changing. And don't worry, because the endings, I think, will feel so clear. Like endings will absolutely lead to a ultimate clarity. And the sun is also, it's renewable, it's our health. This is good for our health. We can really, um, how to say, you have opinions about what independence and success is, but here the that is actually liberation from our a previous understanding about what these matters are. um I think there is a new life force. The new life force wants to enter our lives. The new life force wants to enter our lives. Um, and when everything happens, we have the stability, authority, we have the emperor here. Now, this also makes sense because now this is everything is going to change the that authority energy in our lives, that structure, that discipline energy. There is I think, a decision point for authority figures or anyone who has a solid position in your life. Our personal responsibilities, or what those personal responsibilities are tied to, or like regulated, of if are you subjected to some kind of a um, rule here, or is there like a leader person in a position who is trying to um, lead? Like, is this affecting your field of expertise or living? Um, I think they are making some choices. These choices are about stability. We have to be flexible for the changes this which can come based on the decision of the authority figures, because it can really affect our lives. Their decision can become very critical. Um, and collectively, I think here we are somehow deciding which path of order, which path of regulation, which path of a structure we want to build, because we're gonna find a new ground. Now we have, I think, a new anchoring time for us. Um, Around this time, I feel like uh, what can really anchor us at this time is confidence and also passions, because Queen of Wands is confidence and passion and also enthusiasm, this livelihood. Um, Now, confidence and passion, I think, will become our new anchors. Uh, I feel like there is a, if you're an expert, if you're if you have a particular profession around any field of life, I think your creativity, your profession, your charisma, uh, you have to like anchor it, like present it, or show those qualities, because they can really bring a lasting influence, like from the collective acknowledging of our emotional selves. Now we have some kind of a place of where we can leave a lasting influence. Um, we're gonna have a fire energy, and this is, we try to like stabilize it, and we try to use it, I think, in a grounded way. Queen of Wands and the Anchor is absolutely, um, it's an inspiration, but it's not a fleeting or fleeing inspiration. We try to find a sustained improvement, uh, and sustained empowerment through our creativity, professional capability, competency. Um, yeah, so we try to create some kind of new standing collectively, where we do not from now on rely on what has been accepted so far. Um, and there is a subject like everyone is really bottled up with emotion. I think it's like this has become so much heavy burden that it cannot even take care or sustain a particular successful story. And now, like, the stability of our lives, the leader energy, the authority energy in our lives is now giving decisions on what is going to be like a new anchor at this time to us, collectively. And it asks us to bring our confidence, like show us what you are really best at. So now we have also we ended up with shadow energy, so the devil and the mountain. uh Now we need to talk about this heavy shadow, okay? Now, at the same time, what I feel here is that there is some kind of a collective struggle going on when it comes to restrictions or addictions or anything becoming oppressive for us. Like it seems that the energy is showing us there is going to be some kind of a limit to a particular expression. Um, we shouldn't leave a place for illusions for that they need to go. Um, we may be challenged by some obstacles that we think was like immovable. But I think this is, to me, feels like our collective rebirth under the pressure. Honestly, there is this song, right? Under Pressure. I like to listen that song from Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. Uh, I think it was a collaboration between them. I mean, um, yeah, it's like we are under pressure, my friends. And in that under pressure energy, we try to give our collective rebirth. And there is so much going on in our individual lives. We witness truths being exposed. We witness our comforts are being challenged. Yet we are building a new strength out of this. Um, and sometimes the biggest challenge in our lives really comes from when we confront with what is really not movable, which means when we confront with the immovable. When we confront with the immovable, um, sometimes we, of course, you can go around it too. Um, but I want to ask one more question: How we can let me get the Minkiati deck. Yeah, how we can confront and beat not yet. How we can confront and beat this unmovable while trying to uh, give birth to our collective new grounding, let's say. Okay, so I asked how we can confront what is really immovable, and the clarification was chariots. We have the Page of Cups, and we have the Taurus card from the Minkiati deck. This one is a special card, but I don't know the English meaning. But it's one of those four virtues, so there is a virtue energy there too. Uh, and how we can beat this immovable is, I think, through willpower, through focus, through direction. Um, it's like we have to pull some different energies together into one determined path or course. I think you cannot really move this mountain with some kind of a brute force. You have to navigate around this. You need to navigate around this with mastery and control. That's why maybe it is asking us to bring those our professions, what we are good at, what are master skills as people. And sometimes, stubborn blockages like this, they break through also virtues and softness with the Page of Cups. Um, so they are not just broken with aggression. This is not a time for aggression. If we want to confront what is really blocking us. Um, Sometimes, these heart blocks, they melt, especially when we approach them with also innocence, um, creativity, and sometimes when we show an unexpected openness to it. There is also a sense of humility here, some fresh emotional perspective, some playfulness. Um, yeah. So we have also the Taurus uh, card in order to confront what is blocking. Now, Taurus energy currently, do we have? I think we don't have any planets in Taurus astrologically. Um, but I think again the grounded anchor actually with Taurus coming with patience and persistence. We also have the anchor symbolism here. You know, um, the way through the immovable is not really rushing, my friends. It's going to be uh, a way in which we root into it and we just build very steadily against it as well. Like we have to root these concepts. So when we root these concepts in a steady way, we are actually building against it and we can definitely beat this. Moving when our willpower is focused, we can really move. When we bring our gentleness as a virtue and openness to soften the situation, this can also help. But we also need to understand what is really fixed in our material reality. And we also need to apply patience and steady efforts around this thing. So, I think there is like a triple strategy to move around our blockages, which are our will, our flexibility of our heart, and also our persistence here. Uh, I feel like as a collective, if you feel like challenged by some systematic, these personal blockages, you fighting them in a very reckless way is not going to help. Your strategy, your heart, your patience will definitely, I think, help here. Um, I think this is like a period where we go through a bit of everything. And I think it's going to also help us to kind of just pause and stop when something feels very uh, immovable. Just pause and stop. Because when the collective truth surface and it reach to that networks, your groups or communities, we will be faced with things which are no longer hidden, and we may want to lean on that emotional figure symbolically who can like carry um, that weight and the symbol of the person who is emotionally mature and who can carry all these karmic burdens um, is actually pointing out from now on a different element to lean on, which came with the Queen of Wands. Though there is going to be people around us that we can trust still. But this is like, it's not forever because we find comfort in a couple of things, but with this now new realities that we're gonna see the erosion of that comfort. Um, when you feel like stability or what you know as success or like outcomes, if you think they are like being threatened, it's okay to go with the understanding of a liberating transformation because these small leaks, that anxieties or obligations, they are really draining. And sometimes you can even like feel your independence is also being threatened. Okay. And this can, of course, create that um, detrimental uh, health matters when these subjects also affect your health. At that moment, the death card is, I think, with the sun, reminding also how important our vitality or like how we can actually, um, how to say, cope with that because we have to let some endings happen here because things there will be things which is gonna fall away and this is going to bring the clarity that the situation needs. It's gonna bring the vitality that we need and it's going to create space for growth like so the rebirth moment is also here actualizing with that energy and then the reminder of our personal responsibilities, the emperor. Um, it he even meets a fork in the road. So we will be given some maybe now new references, but there will be some choices about, I think, structure and leadership. So there can be change, by the way, in leaderships as well. Some Queen of Wands, more maybe a feminine figure will also take a lead here. And because the Emperor is really pointing out the Queen of Wands there, those choices about structure and leadership and discipline is really going to create the shift necessary. Now, new terms we are looking here is confidence and it's enthusiasm, um, passion, passionate projects, self expression, and charisma. These can be anchored and anchored into some lasting influence here. But when we try to do that, we will, it seems, come across with blockages. We have the devil and the mountain there. Again, so even you have the new leadership and concepts, you will eventually see where everyone is actually feel changed. So the systematic real obstacles, whether actually they are collective, personal, or karmic, the moment they feel immovable, we need to build some. We need to build some new understanding with our focused willpower and with our gentleness and openness and patience and persistence with the Taurus card. Oh, sorry, just a second. Transformations, I think, demand choices, friends, and our new path will, I think, require maturity, steady will, and patience. It does not require a reckless force. Um, Otherwise, we cannot move the immovable. Um, there are things that can be worked with, there are things that can be navigated, there are things that we can slowly reshape through time. And this is a rebirth under pressure, like from judgment to liberation. And as we have also this shadow of the blockages, we want to step a very we want to step into a patient, enduring strength with creative forces, enthusiasm, um so these are going to be, I think, our new tools, I feel. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will speak to you in other readings. Bye bye.